got the bottom shelf for the tables. Okay, this is what we got here. These shelves right here. They're basically going to go into here like that. I'll have to trim them to size, of course, but there'll be a bottom shelf that fits in there like that. So we're going to have 4 of them. All right, I'm in the process of making 4 end tables. These are going to be nightstands that are going to go by the edges of or either side of a bed, and these tables are going to Alaska to a really cool custom home up there. Anyway, here's my parts. This is actually maple, which I got from upstate New York. This is yellow birch from Maine, beautiful yellow birch, and these are the poles here, so sometimes you have to shave the knobs off these guys. Next move is to put a 6-degree angle on it. This is the top right here. Okay. I got a 24-inch, this is a 24-inch table, so I have a 24-inch stick. Marking it. That looks good. I'm going to pre-drill it, nail it, nail my leg into position where I want it. I'm using a 3-inch masonry nail for this operation. Let it poke through a little bit. See, you got to poke through there. Leg number 1. Okay, now I'm going to get right back in here, and I'm on my 3rd leg now. And I'm going to adjust it just the way I want it. And I'm not too worried about it being exactly the right length at this point, because I'm going to take, when I put all the legs on, I'll set it on the floor. And I'll make sure it gets level by belt peening the end bottom of the leg. So I'm using a nice dull bit just for you guys. Real bit. I was actually going to go buy some sharp ones, and they never did. And I probably should. Okay, that's done. Dusty. Okay, put it back in the bowl. It's in place. Then I use the nail set and drive that nail to where you start to feel that leg get nice and tight. See, that leg's nice and tight. Perfect. Okay, as you can see, I've got all the 4 tables done. They're assembled. Legs are on the tables, I should say. And then the next process is going to be, we're going to put spreaders all the way around these guys, because there's going to be a lower shelf on the tables. And we'll go through that. And then the final thing will probably be to put kind of a funky carving on the, or not carved, but basically a chiseled edge, basically on the side of these tables. If you can, I think you can see it okay, but these are the mill marks from the old circle saw mill that sawed these boards years and years ago. This wood actually came out of the Adirondacks probably in the early 50s to late 40s. I was lucky enough to get some of this stuff. Okay, the next thing I'm doing is I'm putting spreaders, these guys right here, these spreaders across the legs. So I'm gonna, these are special cuts. These are angle cuts, and then they're also a cope joint. So I'm gonna clean a couple pieces up here to use. Right length, approximately. Find out which way it shoots. It's better. I put a slight angle on it. You have to cope it. This is a different operation. done that little cope, and then you come over and you test it. And you see if it fits okay. So you do that for all of it, and then you just have to test fit it, and then you come over and you cut this side a little long on the right angle, and you cope it, and then we clamp the top legs together and screw it in place. Okay, I've got the last two screws going in on the 4 spreaders here. So we'll go ahead and put them in place. Dead center on that stick. Re-drilling with about a 3/8. That's actually 5/16 inch bit now, but that works good. Wood head, out neck screw. Oh yeah, she bites in there. There it is. That's all 4 spreaders. Now there's going to be a bottom shelf this guy. Let me grab this here camera. And there's the other 3 that I've gotten taken care of here. And this is the 4th one, so she's coming along good. Okay, now I'm going to put some little braces on all the legs here, like that. So I've got some stuff all set up here. Chops off this stuff. I have 1 on each leg, basically 1 brace. Cope them out in just a second here. Have a nice finishing touch on the underside of the table. So 4 tables will need 16. 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. And I'll cut 2 more and then we'll cope them out. I want to stress something that's really important. I'm certainly not recommending this by any amateur, these moves. So this is kind of a video on how I build furniture, and that's kind of not recommended for everybody. But anyway, this is really good stuff. I've got years of doing this under my belt, so I've just developed techniques that work for me. So don't do this because I said. just wanted to say that these moves are very dangerous for an amateur with a radial arm saw, and I don't recommend anybody doing this move. This is a technique that I've developed over the years on how to cope, how I cope joints. And it's not a school technique by any means, it's my technique, so please don't practice this at home. This is my technique. I'm not, like I say, I'm not advocating this for anybody. This is what I do. I just thought it'd be kind of fun to show you guys how I make versions. Okay, and then so what happens here, let me show you how this works. I make this happen. So basically I've got the coped end, and then that cope can actually slide up and down anywhere on that board, on that the leg. So I just come down basically, and then I'll eyeball about where it comes down, and then I'll go and freehand cut that bottom. So once again, here's another piece here. So there's the cope, and then I'll just slide that down. And then I can see the amount I've got to cut off, so I just eyeball that and freehand that, and then there's my perfect piece. So then I've got 4 of them per table. Now that I got all my 16 pieces cut, I'm going to cope one end. One end goes around the table right here, the flat on the bottom of the table. So you just go through and you cope all of them like that. That's all of it. Like I say, these guys right here, we're going to do these guys right here. So the reason I'm coping that is because that cope actually will fit tight like this. And then I'll just bring this down and I'll eyeball where that is, and I'll cut that once again on the radial arm saw. That's my point. make sure you got the right angle so you don't poke through the top of the table. Going to the leg is easy. Usually kind of a big nail, but there's a spiral nail, which I really like. The table gets those 4 of them going around. It's pretty cool. Okay, so I've got all 4 of them in place, and the last nail's going in. That gives us a tremendous amount of extra stability. These little tables. That hole as deep as a nail, because this is hard. This is the old birch. If it goes past the pre-drill hole, it splits. So I pre-drill all the way through. And now what I did is I went to McLennan's Hardware and I just bought 5/16 inch hardwood round head dowels, and they're actually round headed, which is kind of cool. So instead of me buying a dowel and cutting a bunch of dowels, I'm just going to do this, and I dip it in the glue, right in the end there. I told you I used a 5/16 inch drill bit when I first drilled these holes, remember? And now I just stick it in the hole, and it's pre-rounded. Tap it in place, rub the glue off, and that's exactly what you get right here. It's a beautiful little deal. Now I'm just going to sand all these lower shelves, and then we'll fasten them after I sand them all. how we do the sand job. Okay, so this is a pretty delicate operation. I've got these lower shelves, and as you can see, they rock a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on them from this side and to the other side over on the other side over here. But I've got a tool I'm going to use, and it's basically a die grinder with a router bit in it. And I'm also going to go on the underside. I'm going to use this screw here. These are kind of cool screws. These are basically, what are they here? Well, they're a finished trim screw, and they're a star screw, and they're a beautiful little screw. And I'm going to end up going down underneath and basically screwing from the underside about 3 screws on each side. So I'll do one here, and one here. So everything, all the screws will be hidden. So I'll show you this operation. And this is not recommended by any stretch of the imagination for somebody who doesn't know what the heck they're doing here. So I'll just work that until I see that it's all fitting on both sides. And I may have to spin the other side here and either shave off on the stick or shave off on the shelf, depending on how I want to make this happen. And it looks like I'm going to probably shave off on the shelf, because I can show you there's quite a bit of gap here, right in here. So I'll have to take some off at the bottom of that shelf right there. Okay. And that's probably going to be a bit of a different operation. Take this guy here. Let's see where I'm going with it. And I can kind of freehand a little bit of it. Shave it off here. And I can also take some off the twig here also. Probably will do a little bit. Okay, I've got this thing shaped the way I want to have it shaped, and I've clamped it with a C-clamp, and I put a board on top so I didn't scar the wood. I didn't care about the underside because that's the underside. And so now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over. I've got the drill bit, right size for that little screw, and I'm going to put a screw into it. What's going to happen is there's that cross screw going this way, so you sometimes may have to shift over so you miss it. So now what we're going to do is screw this in, bury it, hidden to the twig. And that brought it in tight. So we're going to do 3 on this side, 3 on this side, on all the shelves, and they'll all be done. Those are beautiful little finish screws. I would totally recommend these guys. Look at that. It's so easy. Okay, that shelf is all done. Look at that. Oh, that's a beautiful, nice little heavy table. Real nice. And then all I've really got to do is sand the top, and then we're going to do some special carvings on the edges so it looks real rustic. Okay, we're moving on here, and now I've got the table upside down on the bench here. You can see, I'm going to stand in front of you here, but now I'm just going to take my belt or my vibrator sander and just sand the bottom and the top, all sand those. And then I flipped her upside down, and I just go through a nice sharp razor knife, and I just give it some carved edges here. It kind of gives it that real rustic look. This is the end grain, and that carves hard. When you get into the long grain, you can just do this. Makes a great look. It's almost a teardrop carved look. You almost don't have to do anything after that, even hardly have to sand it. So I do that even on top of these guys here, all up and through here. I just carve the whole thing. It looks like you've taken a lot of time into it instead of just hitting it with a belt sander or a vibrator sander. Just gives it a good feeling, like handmade. Okay, I'm giving the tops the final sanding. And then I'll probably do a hand carve or hand fiddle top edge. Okay, now what I'm basically doing is I'm taking the razor knife and I'm just basically going to carve the edge here a little bit, and I just do it like so, and it gives it kind of a hand hewn look, which I kind of like, and I think people like that also. You don't have to be too particular about it, just carve away. Okay, now I'm going to finish it off with a little nice hand sanding. I think this is 100 grit, something like that, but I don't do it like 200 or 240 or 300. It's a rustic table, so we're going into a rustic cabin. It doesn't have to be perfect. That's not the point. Rustic is rustic. So it just come out beautiful. Okay, well, I've got them upside down after doing those legs. What I do is I come in here and I sign them with a Dremel drill. What I gotta do here is look at the date. Everything's upside down here. I'll just go ahead and sign it with my Dremel drill. And then I bring it over here and I basically just kind of burn it. And that's my mark. Jim Howard, Seattle, Washington, 2/23/2015. Okay, now I'm going to use my die grinder with my router bit in it. This is a dangerous operation too. You want to be super careful about this. So I'm going to carve the ends of the legs here so they look pretty cool. So I'll do all the legs like this. It gives it that hand carved look, which is really cool. So that's how I do her, just like so. We're coming up to the final stages of this, our table project here, and as you can see, this table sits pretty level. It's got a little bit of a rock, and so what happens is you end up having to look at where this thing is rocking. Okay, so these two are hitting right here, and then these other two are not. So you end up having to sand one of these guys out, and you have to look at the top of the table to see where it's level. Now this is the same thing. See how this moves? Okay, so you got two legs hitting and two not. So you end up having to go find your best level spot on your table, and then you come down here and you see what leg's got to come down, and it's basically this leg has to get sanded down. So we're going to do that right now. Let me set up and I'll show you how I do it. Okay, so I know which leg it is. It's got to come down. And I basically just take the belt sander and I'll sand it until it comes level. And then you put it back up on the table and kind of rock it and see where it's going to fit the best. So that's what you got to do here. Okay, so we're getting a little bit closer here. It's not anywhere near close enough, but I'll keep sanding and I'll get them all level, and then we'll finish them with, we're going to use Danish oil right here. Okay, now I'm going to, the best thing, you can buy a good brush too. Good brushes are worth a bunch of money. Bad brushes are bad. Anyway. Now what I do is I take this Danish oil, the tables are all done and leveled, and I basically just start soaking the whole table with Danish oil. Legs and everything. And it's a little messy, that's why I've got cardboard down. But boy, this stuff is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And as you can see, it's going on, it's just basically almost like water, but it's just an oil. It's a beautiful oil. So we'll do all 4 tables, bottoms, tops, sides, everything, and then we'll be done. I'll show you the final product. I've got the tables all finished up with the Danish oil, and boy, they look beautiful. These are going to be real nice for that cabin up in Alaska. So there you go. That's the finished product right there. And they're just beautiful little tables. Oh boy. So it's yellow birch for all the legs. This is cherry on the bottom. And then all the tops are bird's eye maple. Sweet. Okay, thanks for joining me in my shop here. I'm Jim. And I do all kinds of stuff here. That's right, I sure do. All kinds of stuff here. Okay, thanks. You can catch me at ifoundjim.com. Brought these tables out into sunshine. We're going to let them dry out a little bit. But that's what they look like when they're all done. Yeah, they come out real nice. Beautiful. Beautiful little tables. Sweet. Okay, so we're coping the wood, and I've got my mark, the height of it right here, same as this guy over here. So I want to get a nice cope on one side, which I've got, a real nice cope right in here. And now what I do is I come over here and I over mark this one by, oh, I don't know, ½ an inch, and I scribe that angle on there, what I want. And then I cut it, and then I cope that. And make sure that you leave the cope level with your table when you cut the other end off. Bring this out. I'm going to coat this guy. Okay, so that's the coping part, and then you just have to custom fit it. So basically, you're working on this guy here. You've got room to play with these because the legs will tip out a little bit. Just fit there. Actually, pretty good fit right there. That's the screw on it. I'm going to cut that off. Hard for me. I have to do it. Basically clamp your leg together and we're going to screw it in place. See, there's a nice fit. Okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm using a composite deck screw, oddly enough. But what I'm doing, eyeball across. This is going to be the pre-drill. This is going to be an oversized hole. And I'm only going to go about a ½ inch because the screw is going to go in through here, and I'm going to plug this with wood. A little bit more. And then I'll pre-drill for that screw. Basically, make sure you're going straight across and into that stick. And then, I got the heavy duty Makita. Whoa, watch it, buddy. And put force on it. Put that. There it is. I'll do the same to the other side and I'm going to be all set.